A very good morning to you. Welcome to another beautiful Wednesday morning. If it's Wednesday, you know we are having the financial clinic. Clinic ya mfuko. Bench nimeweka nje kama kawaida. Nimeipanguza, nimeisanitize. We are good to go, even as we have another insightful discussion talking about money issues. Your money. I'm just wondering, are there rules that govern money? It seems like there are those people who know how to work their way with money, and then there are those who, it doesn't matter the amount. They squander everything. Kuna wale hata ukiwapatia kidogo, they're able to do wonders with it. There are others, if you give them, even if it's the millions, they're not able to work it. And I keep wondering, are there rules that govern, how we spend money and how we interact with money and how money operates in general? Is it important for us to understand those rules so that we know how to work this money thing? That's what we want to look at today. And I was asking earlier on the radio part of the show, what's the greatest money lesson that you have learned? Somebody was to ask you, what is one lesson that's very important about money that you have learned? Sarah in Nakuru says how she has learned that saving will not make you rich. She says she is a saver. Yeye ni wale watu hata wananunua piggy bank. Ana invest in a safe ya kuweka kwa nyumba. Saving. She says, saving, my friend, will not make you rich. I had another comment here that says if you can't pay cash, you can't afford it, wachana nayo. Another one said, don't be emotional when it comes to money issues. Ukiona emotions zinaanza kupanda sana, you step back a bit. Breathe in, breathe out. Wacha damu ikul before you start making those decisions. Another one says, don't make promises on money you have not received. If it's not yet in your pocket, it's not there. Don't make promises on that. And so this morning, we're going to be looking at some of the golden rules surrounding money and how we can benefit by understanding them and learning them. I have an amazing guest. I will be introducing him to you in the next short while. Even as we get into this discussion, tell me, what's the greatest money lesson you have learned? SMS is 20316, WhatsApp 0786316316. Interesting text messages coming in. Ruth in Nakuru is saying, the greatest lesson I learned last year, never budget on the money that is not in your hands. That's a good lesson right there. I have one from Linda. Linda says, the greatest money lesson I've learned is lend only that which you can afford to lose, because people really disappoint you when you genuinely lend them, yet they don't refund as agreed. Hao ndio wacha tu nisiseme. And then Ken in Nakuru says, the greatest money lesson I've learned is that borrowing anyhow without a plan can set you into a debt prison that is hard to come out of. That's a hard lesson to learn right there. This morning we get to hang out with the CEO Centonomy, Waithaka Gatumi. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm very fine. Good to have you on the show today. I think the last time I hosted you is when we had gone into the lockdown.
Hey.
Isn't it?
That's what I was saying. I was feeling abandoned. I thought you forgot about me during this COVID lockdown.
It seems when there's a lockdown, I remember you.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Huh? We need to dig deeper. There must be a message there. Maybe you are the one to set people free from this lockdown, my friend. It's good to have you. Karibu sana. I'll begin.
The Lord set us free.
I'll begin by asking you the same question I'm throwing out to everybody. Well, what is the greatest money lesson you've learned?
I don't know that I can say there's one.
Yeah.
There are many. And I think, in fact, let me tell you this. I think the greatest money lesson that I've learned is that you need to learn about money. And it's not assumptions. I think, and that's why we're in business as Centonomy, because our education system simply does not prepare us to deal with money in life.
Yeah.
I think we have general principles that function in and out of the workspace, but we have never been taught the simple steps, the practice, the habits that are necessary to function in a world where money is the currency for every transaction that you're going to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, let me say that. I think that is that you need to learn about money. It's not something that's just natural, that's just out there.
Yeah.
You actually need to spend time, energy learning, and hopefully teaching others around you especially your children and your family around money.
Yes, very true. So when we talk about money, I'm curious to know, are there rules that govern how this thing we call money operates? Because if there are rules, then I think it's important for us to learn them. So are there rules?
Yeah, just like every system out there in the world, there are rules. Just like biblically, there are laws that help you function in the world.
Yeah.
There are physical laws, there are spiritual laws, there are political laws, there are civil laws. All these laws help us to function in the world. So yes, the answer is yes, there are laws or rules that govern how money works. And your wonderful listeners and viewers have given you a couple of those amazing ones, just to give you some support.
Yeah.
I believe that you had one listener who was saying, you can't save to become rich.
Okay.
I think this is a very important principle because sometimes people don't get that fact. Let me give you a practical example of what that means. If you were to save, just save alone,
yeah.
Do you know how long it would take you to make 1 billion shillings? You know, you hear of billionaires.
Yeah.
You wonder, how did they get there?
Yeah. If you're saving how much?
Now, watch this.
Yeah.
If you save 1 million shillings every month, so first of all, it means that you have enough for your life, and then you put aside a million bob.
Yeah.
Okay?
Umeomoka.
Do you know how you have done well? Do you know how long it would take you to get from there to 1 billion?
How long?
83 years. Saving 1 million bob every month.
83 years to become a billionaire.
Yeah. Yes, if you are saving 1 million shillings every month. So there's no multiplying effect when it comes to saving. So you're putting aside cash, and that cash, generally, the way we teach at Centonomy is if you're saving to put cash aside for an emergency that you can use when that time comes. But saving has no real multiplying effect. Why? Because most of the time, your savings account will give you less than inflation in the world.
Yeah.
So right now, if inflation is hovering between 6 and 8%, and your savings account is giving you 4-5%, that means the value of the cash that you have in that savings account is actually decreasing. The value of it. It's not multiplying fast enough to be able to go. So I'm telling you, your listeners, they know these things.
They know these
and it's
things.
about understanding. If you're going to build wealth, saving is one of the tools, but it is not the primary tool for wealth creation. It is a good practice because it's building the discipline. It's putting aside cash that will help you multiply over time. But saving is not the only thing that you need to do. We talked about it last time.
Yeah, I think that's an important lesson because many times we hear save, but we are never told what for. Why are you saving?
Yeah.
What's the purpose of the saving? And so some of us have got mattress accounts, my friend. Tukilala tunalala unono, my friend. We are sleeping on something. Let me ask you another question. Let me ask you another question that is arising from what you've said, because you say when we save this money, the rate of inflation is higher than whatever interest we are gaining out of it. So does that mean that money has the capacity to decrease and to increase?
Yes.
Talk to us about that one, because I think that's important.
So a basic definition of the word inflation. Inflation is the overall increase in the price of goods and services over time. Now, that's a long story. Let's simplify it.
Yes.
James, the first time your folks sent you to the kiosk to buy a loaf of bread, how much did it cost you?
It was less than 5 bob, my friend.
Very good.
Yes.
We now know which decade you were born in. Now, what that means is if it was less than 5 bob, how much are you buying that loaf for today? And that was probably a 500-gram loaf.
Yeah.
That was less than 5 bob. Now you're buying a 400-gram loaf for how much?
Right now it's about 50. Is it 50 bob?
55 about.
55,
so
yeah.
It's smaller and you're paying almost more than 10 times, 11 times more than what you had bought it for.
Yeah.
So in the next couple of years, that loaf of bread may continue to decrease and the price going up. This is a fact of the economy, and any economy that's functioning, some level of inflation is useful because you don't want deflation. You want manageable inflation because for anyone who's in business, you don't want a situation where you make a service or a good and sell it for less than it took for you to make it. So inflation is not a bad thing in and of itself. When it is out of control, that's a problem. So yes, you can the value of money generally over time tends to reduce.
Yeah.
And so if you are not aware of that, you're thinking, I'm putting aside. No problem. But for what? I loved your question. You said, what are you actually doing this for? Because when you understand that, then you can make certain decisions.
Okay. What's another important money principle or money rule that we all need to know?
Okay, these are the ones now I'd prepared beforehand, and it's not a comprehensive list.
Yeah.
But God willing, it's helpful for people. I want us to listen to this carefully. Don't chase after money. Don't chase after money. Go after value.
You know, I keep hearing that a lot.
Yes.
You need to explain it to us.
I'm trying.
Please. Yes.
Because when you create value, money will follow you. When you're valuable, money follows you. Let me prove it to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure, James, you took your family out on this weekend or sent for somebody to deliver something for your family this weekend.
Hallelujah.
I don't know, over Easter. Did you feel sufficiently philanthropic for your people? So why is that? Because you saw value somewhere and you said that company there offers me value and I'm going to send them money. You didn't send it to all the others. You picked one and you said, this one offers value and money goes in that direction. If you are valuable in the organization that you're working for, you tend to be promoted, given raises, and be put in the place that is going to give you the greatest value. When you look at organizations, who are the people who tend to be paid the most? They are the ones that offer the greatest value to that organization.
Yeah.
And if you're offering great value and your organization is not paying you enough, have you heard of this process called headhunting? Because another organization is looking. In fact, you know, when you want to hire somebody, you don't want to hire somebody you've never met. You want to make sure this person has value. So sometimes, as you know, as employers, you're looking around and you're saying, I like that guy. We worked with this organization and the energy he had or that lady had, the work ethic, all those things. It's easier to just go and poach them from there, you know, and get them into your place. Think about it like this. Even investors are looking for value. Why? Because they know over time that value will multiply. So you're looking for companies that you can see where is the value, not just where the money is. So I am encouraging everybody, chase after value. If you are valuable, you'll be paid more. If you create a business that is generating value, investors will come to you. If you now are an employee and you're offering greater value to your organization, that's why you get paid more. That's why you get promoted. That's why you get given more responsibility. The money will always follow value. So that's the key.
Okay, I understand that. So I should focus on value. I should focus on making myself, you know, better, more valuable. And then the resources will follow. And
your business as well, your time, all those things. You're essentially trying to say, where is the value going to multiply? And if you can do that, the money will come, for sure. Right now, in fact, people always talk about in business that there's no money for investors. You can't find money for investment in your business. There's more money than you could ever believe.
Yeah.
I've told you this before. We work with investment companies, and the frustration that they have is they have more money than businesses they can invest in.
Wow.
Let me tell you, if you have proven your business is valuable in that it can return a profit over time, that the product that you're producing or the service that you're producing, people want it, there's a market for it, investors will fight tooth and nail to give you their money, because what they're trying to do is get a return on it. And there's billions of dollars, if not trillions, waiting for the next big business or the next idea that is offering the greatest value. So never think that there's no money for it. There is money. The problem is often we don't have a business that can absorb that cash.
Uh-huh. So don't chase after money. Focus on the value.
Yes.
What's the next one?
Money will follow. Money will chase after you.
Yes.
That's it. Yes.
As you're chasing after the money, my friend.
No, let me tell you, even, and this is the thing. Here's the thing. Let me tell you, let's go a bit deeper in this, because I want to speak to young people who are listening to us right now. One of the issues we have as employers, and I'm sure you've seen this, James, with the amazing youth team that you have there at Family.
Yeah.
Often, young people are coming into the market. They have a degree or whatever it is, and they're asking for salaries that are impossible.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen.
Yes. Oh, yes.
There's a thought process that, you know what, I am a university graduate. I need to be earning 100,000 bob.
6 figure.
So now, here's the thing. That's not a bad attitude. But I think the better attitude would be join the organization and build value from there. That's why so many people are still on the street waiting for a job to come up rather than going and creating a job for themselves. I honestly believe right now, if you're in university and you're not offering your value, then you're in the wrong place, because you will come out of university with a degree but no experience. The difference is outside of this country, and by the time you're leaving university, most young people in the Western world have at least 6 years experience working. Wow. They worked in a fast food restaurant, then they interned at a different organization, then they tried, they've done work. And that was my experience. Thank God for my parents who sent me out of this country. When I went to university, I was working while in university. I had 2 jobs. Not even burgers. I used to sell coffee and ice cream. We had an ice cream shop that I was working at. And at the same time, I was interning at a production company at that same time, because I was trying to build my skills. I was also working at that place. And there was another job even I had. There was a point at which I had 3 jobs. So that by the time I was leaving university, I had over 3 years experience working. Now, can you imagine coming with that on your CV versus a guy who leaves university and all they have is the degree? Which of the two were you going to pick between? And so at this point, stop chasing the money, young people. Go look where you can be valuable. Because if you offer your value, the company is also going to offer you their value, which is experience.
Could it be?
And experience, let me tell you, it's priceless. Yeah, go ahead.
Could it be, Waithaka, that a good number of us don't know how to determine value? We don't even know what value we bring to the table, because the way society is structured, the way we have been taught, the focus is always on the money. Show me the money. And so even our own value, because we don't even see our own value, then we don't even know how to create value. Because that whole aspect has always baffled me, that somebody went all the way through campus, they have even their masters, their degree or their masters, and they come out here and they can't find a job and they get stuck.
Because they're looking for something that is, well prepared for them. That was the job market for my parents' generation.
Very true.
Because at that point, the number of educated people was very few. In fact, by the time you are leaving university, most people already had a job waiting for them. Because
even high school.
There was more work than people to do that work. Those days are long gone. However, you brought up something that's so important. We as Africans have to start valuing ourselves. We have so much to offer this world. Our skill set, our talents, our abilities, there's so much in us, but we don't value ourselves. I think that the biggest show of this is, for many entrepreneurs, they start businesses. We train on entrepreneurship at Centonomy as well. And I'm always shocked how many people start a business and they don't pay themselves. They don't even account for the work that they do in that business, because they have no sense of value, that self-worth. I've never, I mean, like from the people that I've worked with outside of this country, when they start a business, they know how much they're worth, they know how much time they're putting into it. But I'm always shocked. And I'm sure the listeners who are listening to us right now, who are running a business and they've never paid themselves. This thing just baffles me, because this person doesn't understand how much value they're bringing to the table, and they have not been able to calculate it. So I love your show because you're always building us up. And the kind of stories that you're bringing up is you're trying to show us, Africans, wake up. Mm-hmm. You have value to offer this world. You are yourself are valuable. Yeah. And if you understand that, then you offer yourself and your full self to the world. And then you will see that value drawing the money that you want from elsewhere. I don't know if you've ever been in a conversation with foreigners. Africans, you'll have a conversation and you can barely hear them. They can't even talk, you know. But if there's someone from the US or someone from China, you hear them have a sense of self-worth. They carry themselves differently. I love that question. Thank you. You touched a nerve there.
Awesome. It's 24 minutes after 8. We are talking about rules, my friend. Rules or principles around money. If you have any questions for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. And the WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. We are looking at rules and principles that govern money. We are hanging out with the CEO, Centono Waithaka Gatumia. And if you have any questions for us today, 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. So, what's the other one? We've talked about value, and I think that's an important lesson that we need to teach even our children. You know, value is important, even recognizing our own value, because some of us also get to a place where we are misused and abused because we don't know what we carry in our value.
So the first one was create value and money will find you. Always look for the money will come. So if you're focused on value and generating value, money will find you. Mm-hmm. The second one, and this is a very biblical principle I hope people will recognize, is seed time and harvest. I think if we are going to begin to understand, things don't just happen. There was a preparation. There was an investment time. There was a process that you went through to see the harvest that you're looking for. Okay. And I know so long as the world is in place, at least that's what I remember from the little I know about the Word of God, is that so long as the world is there, there will be seed time
and harvest.
Mm-hmm. And if you can look at that principle, it is the principle of investment. And the funny thing is that we don't often understand what that actually means. Mm-hmm. Farmers get this. I love listening. Farmers are the most patient. They understand these things. They understand that I am putting in an investment today, which is I'm working the ground. They have not even planted anything yet. Yes. I'm just simply working the ground. They are turning it using a plow, and they turn the soil to introduce air, to introduce other different things. They are preparing. And after they've prepared the land, then they come and they add even some more materials to it, manure and fertilizer to that land. Nothing has happened yet. Mm-hmm. They are months away from the thing that they're looking for. Then they go and look for seed, and they come and chuck it in the ground, and they cover it, and they wait. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Now they just sit. And they wait for months. Some of them years. Yes. Especially people who are looking for, trees, orchards and things. So it's years that they're waiting for to see that one seed multiply over time. Mm-hmm. The same principle applies to your money. I think for so many of us, we have been programmed and we see the end result. We don't see the process. Yeah. And that's a problem with social media, because everybody is shouting about the result. Yes. Everybody's talking about this is it. No one wants to hear about the grind or the, people who are in business, they don't want to hear about the years that it took for you to go and pitch, how many no's you had before you got your first yes. Yes. They don't want to hear about, you started investing only 500 bob, only saving 500 bob in your circle until it got to a certain level. Then you borrowed some cash and then you made your first investment, then you did this. Before you got now to that Range Rover that you have been driving, it didn't happen just like this. And even for those people who you sensed that it happened quickly, there was still preparation. All these young people who are looking at, the guys who have built these tech companies, and it sounds like it was overnight,
Yeah.
But these guys were coding for years before they became, they built the apps that we use now on our phone. Years of preparation and hours of this kind of preparation. So here's the thing. If you are going to build wealth and manage your money, this principle, let's understand it. There is seed time and there is what?
Harvest time.
The harvest cannot come without the seed. So if you're thinking about your investment, and think about a seed, Pastor James. A seed is a tiny little thing. It doesn't look like what can be done with it. The multiplying effect of small amounts is something that we often forget.
Yeah.
Because people think the investment is you need to invest 1 million shillings, you need to, 100,000, that's an investment. No, 100 bob. Because what we have begun to see is that if you can be disciplined with 100 shillings, you can be disciplined with 100 million. What you were saying before I came on is if you are indisciplined with 100 bob, I assure you, you cannot manage 100 million. So seed time and harvest. That principle, it takes time. You have to put in the work, and the result will be seen over time.
I think for many of us, we know that principle. Shida inakuwaga ni shamba gani tutapanda hiyo mbegu. A lot of people don't know where to put in that 100 bob. That I can spare 1,000 bob every month. I can spare 500 every month, but where do I put it? And I think that's why a lot of people fall back to saving. I'll just save. I will just put it aside somewhere. At least I'm doing something. But we don't know, where do I need to take this money to be able to utilize the multiplication effect? Because from what you've said, that is the notion that many people have, that, I need probably 100,000 if I'm to invest in some of these big companies that keep advertising and telling us about investments. Me is in 100,000. Me niko tuna thao.
Yeah. Now, again, it's seed time and harvest. If that investment requires 100,000, then take your 1,000 and save. Put it aside until it becomes 100,000. Once it becomes 100,000, then go to that place, because what you have done is you are prepared. You are now ready to get into that place. So it's not that you can't be able to achieve those goals. It's that sometimes we get stuck in one place. And one of the reasons that we get stuck, thanks for bringing that up, Pastor James, is fear.
Yes.
We are afraid. Let's go back to the example of farmers. When a farmer prepares the land, puts manure, puts the seed, what guarantee does he have that in 6 months there will be a crop?
None.
Is there?
None.
Other than the fact that it has been seen before, what if there's a flood? What if there are locusts like we saw last year? I don't know if they have gone away completely. But the farmers still put the seed in that ground because they are not being guided by fear. They are being guided by faith.
Yes.
And as investors, we have to be people of faith. Now, I'm not saying blind faith. I am saying you take calculated risks and you say, I understand this investment. I have done my homework. I have attended a class that has taught me how these investments work. Now I'm going to invest. And by the grace of God, who is our provider. And I think that's so important, especially for believers. We must begin to understand where our source is. Our source is not our money, not the effort that we put into it. It is God who provides for our needs. However, he expects us to be partners in the work of preparing this world and doing the things that are out there. But here's the thing. You still have, like a farmer, to put the seed in the ground. And that farmer has no guarantee. You see, we're looking for, that's the question, I'm sure. If we look through your list of things that are there, people are asking, which is the best investment? Wrong question.
They have. Or which is the best business? Or which is the best business to start with 30K?
Wrong question. You see, we're busy looking at the outcome. We're forgetting what I told you. We're looking at the harvest.
Yeah.
We're not looking at the seed. At this point, which investment is in line with your goal? Now we are talking about goals.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know what the harvest I'm looking for, then I will decide which investment it's going to be. So here's a tool that you can use. If you're looking short term,
yeah,
let's use school fees as an example.
Mm-hmm.
For my beautiful girls here, I have school fees coming up at the end of this month.
Yeah.
I will not put any money for school fees into a business or into the shares that I'm trying to buy.
Mm-mm.
I won't. Because I understand that tool of investment in a company can have a huge return, but it's a huge return over time, generally.
Yeah.
So the best place for me to put school fees money for end of April is in a savings account or in something that is more secure. Why? Because my goal is short term.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to achieve? I need security and I need access in 1 month.
Yeah.
So I look for investments that are going to do that. Then, but these same children, God willing, will go to university at some point.
Yes.
And university is 10 years, 13 years away from where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best investment that will get me to that place? It's one that is now multiplying at a faster rate.
Yeah.
So I would make a mistake to put school fees money for university in a savings account. That one, I need to be looking for an investment that will multiply, but over time.
Mm-hmm.
I have time for it to go up, come down, go up, come down, until I get to the goal that I have. So when it comes to our investment strategy, it's always the best investment is the one that is in line with your goal. So if you know what goal you have, then you work backwards and say, which is the investment that I'm going to use to achieve that goal? That's the best investment. Because people, as you said, the question is, which investment should I put my money? The one that matches your goal. What is your goal? What is the outcome that you want? If it's to become a billionaire, as we said at the beginning of this session, please, just stop. Just kindly stop saving. Stop trying to save to become a billionaire. Understand how do people become billionaires? Is they generally, majority of them, start businesses. Because in businesses where they multiply their value over time.
There's something you mentioned there, Waithaka, that I think is very important. And I think it's something that many of us don't think about, and so we never do it. You've talked about what is your goal. To be honest, if you ask a lot of us that question, the first thing that we will probably tell you is, my goal is to have a lot of money. And if you go further and ask us, so how much is a lot of money? We have no idea. It's just a lot of money. It's the way we keep praying for better paying jobs, yet we don't know how they look like. So that goal aspect, hiyo mtu anaanzaga namna gani?
Let me tell you this. I don't know. Just because we're talking about money doesn't mean you have to now start speaking in my native language.
That is my language, my friend. Courtesy of my wife.
I felt the highlands coming out of you there in a few moments. But one of the first things that we do in our Centonomy classes, so guys are getting a free intro to the classes here, is we ask you, what do you want? And so somebody is going to say, especially the young people, the youth who come for our session, I want a lot of money.
Yes.
The very next question is, how much? How much? Because if you've not set a specific goal, then you're aiming at nothing. I always used to make fun. It was my high school English teacher. I told you this last time.
Yeah.
He said, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So you better aim for something. So here's the thing. Watch this. Set specific goals. So let's go back to the education example we were discussing just now.
Yeah.
Don't say, I want my children to go to university. No, that's not enough. Which university?
Uh-huh.
Because I assure you, there's a difference between Oxford and JKUAT.
Yeah.
Not in terms of the quality of education, but the price.
Yes.
Just simply because of which country they are in.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with JKUAT, no problem. I'm just saying, if that is your goal, it takes a very different amount of money to go to JKUAT than it does to go to Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
So if your goal is one or the other, your planning will have to be in line with each one of them. If you've said, I'd like to live in a nice house, where is that house?
Yeah.
How big is it? On how much land? Describe it. So one of the first things we do in the class is to specific goals, because then it's setting you in a trajectory to get to that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean that over time your goals can't change? No. But the thing is, you have set a specific track to get down into that same speed.
Yeah.
And it will now begin to control the actions that you're taking in order to get to that same speed.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the farmer. Remember seed time and harvest?
Yeah.
You don't plant orange seeds and expect to get pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because the ultimate goal, you know what that is. So here's what we are trying to talk about. Understand what is the final goal, and then work backwards to what you must do today.
Okay.
Even which business to start. We, in fact, very soon we're having this discussion properly about which is the best business to start with 30K.
Yeah.
Wrong question. Because you have not done the market research. What skills do you have?
Mm-hmm.
Because even if it's a business that you can start with 30,000, but you have no idea how to do it, if you've never baked a cake before, and you're trying to start a bakery with 30K, big mistake. Is there a market for what you're offering?
Mm-hmm.
Are there opportunities around you? Those are the questions you need to ask. What do people need? How can I offer it? And then that is where now you can be able to go that, not which is the best. What can you do?
What can you do? Okay, this morning we are talking about principles and rules around money. If you have any questions for us, we have about 16 minutes before we run out of time. So 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. This morning we are hanging out with the CEO of Centonomy, Waithaka Katumia. We are talking about principles and rules surrounding money and why it's important to know them. Tuendelee, I know you had a couple more you needed to share with us. Let's keep moving.
Let's try and do just one more, I think, and then if there are any questions, we can do that.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is a very biblical principle that we need to put in place.
Mm-hmm.
It is put things in order. I think it is hard to create wealth in disorder. And so, again, as I said, we're giving you insights into our classes at Centonomy, because one of the first things you do, so after you've set goals, the second thing that you're going to do is begin to put your money in order.
What do you mean by that? Nipange thao, sombili, sotan.
You have to have a strategy, Pastor James. You have to.
Uh-huh.
It is about knowing, first of all, where is your money coming from? How much is coming? And where is it going?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing is creating order. So they're simple tools, and I know people don't like to hear them, but you know what? If they work, you have to use them.
Yeah.
This is it. Simple tools like a budget. And here's the thing. Again, understand how a budget works.
Mm-hmm.
Because a budget is not simply saying I make 50,000. So this is how many of us do our budgets. Yes. I have 50,000. So now you start just planning where to spend the 50,000.
Yeah.
You just say, okay, so I have 50K, so that means I can pay rent of 10. I'll do this for this amount. All you're doing is planning where your money is going, the major items, but you don't really know where those small amounts are disappearing. So what your budget begins to do is to bring order to your money. The second thing is to use what we call, and it's a very simple tool called a balance sheet.
Yeah.
Know where your money is in total, what you owe versus what you own.
Yeah.
What does that mean? The things that are mine, my piece of land, my property, whatever it is that you own, have it clearly stated somewhere and put a value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at all the loans that you have, any debt that you have that is out there, and put it clearly. And the difference between that is now your net value.
Mm-hmm.
These simple tools that we use simply bring order to your life so that you're beginning to make choices and make investments, not just however you feel every morning. There's a strategy and a plan. So if you're going to grow wealth, it does not happen in disorder. And as I said, these are very biblical principles. God he created order. If you look at Genesis, the first thing that he was doing is he's creating order. Okay, you water, go there, land, go there. You go here, you go there. So light, go there. Everything he put in order for it to begin to flourish and to have the growth that we have seen even until now. So use the same principle with your money. Have order. Because once there's order, then it becomes easy to put into place steps that you're going to work towards moving on a regular basis towards your goals. It takes time. It takes understanding. Put things in order. And if you don't know how to put things in order, look for help. Right now, in fact, I have to say this to every listener who's out there. You have no excuse not to understand how money works. No excuse. The number of free online classes that are available, the number of books that are out there, the number of courses like Centonomy that are out there. These are the things that actually, you have no excuse. The information is there. Now it is time for you to take responsibility for your own money and begin to do the things that you want. So put things in order.
So something on that whole aspect of courses and books. Taking you back to where we began, value. I think sometimes some of us don't see the value. Okay, you see this course here, and you're thinking, "Atin pesa ngapi?" You're told, "It's not expensive. It's only 25,000." And you think, 25,000. Apana, hiyo ni pesa mingi sana. Yet the phone I have in my pocket is worth 35 or even 40K. You know, and so a good number of us don't see value. I don't know why we never see it. We can't remove 1,000 bob or 1,500 to buy a book that will educate us about our finances or our marriage, you know, or about the craft that we love. But we can spend 5,000 bob with friends for lunch, and it's not a big deal.
Again, what is it that you want to achieve? If you want to achieve the goal of looking cool, you will buy that phone for 50.
Yes.
You'll want to look the part. But if you want to be the part, you'll spend that same 50,000 bob learning to be that part. You'll spend that time. Remember we talked about that looking for value. So people are looking for that paycheck before they have built the value that they want. They have not gone out and become valuable to an organization, built the experience that they want to have. And then they're expecting that things will just work out the way that they want. And simply not having information, it is, I mean, it'll blow your mind. I don't know, Pastor, if it is possible for me to show you something here on the screen, because these are small things that people don't I wanted to show you what a loan looks like.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people have never seen what a loan looks like.
Yeah.
And when you see it, then you're able to make some decisions. Do you think it's possible for me to share? I want to show you something.
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me do it for you. Hopefully you can tell me if you can see it shortly. Can you see my screen there?
I can see your loan calculator there.
Good.
Yeah.
If I borrow, like for instance, 1.5 million shillings, I'm going to buy a car with that, yeah?
Yeah.
That car, you know, what is a car for 1.5 million?
Yes.
You know the kind of, it's a Toyota, isn't it? Or a similar. So you're in that space.
Yeah.
You get it at 15% for 5 years. Yes? Now, what people don't see is this side of it.
Oh.
That means every month you'll be paying how much? 35K.
35K.
All right?
Yeah.
For how many months? For 60
months.
Okay? Now, the thing you also don't know is how much interest you're going to pay. So this is interest alone.
On top of the principal that you borrowed.
Yes. So let's talk about it now. So I borrowed 1.5, 15% for 5 years.
Yeah.
On top of that, I'll pay how much? 641,000. So how much have I actually paid for this car, Pastor?
You've paid about 2.1.
So when I was buying it, it was valued at how much? 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5.
But I am paying 2.1 for that car. 5 years later, now I own that car, Pastor. How much is that car worth 5 years later after paying all this 2.1 million?
Probably half of the 1.5.
Now, do you understand that your car is not a financial asset?
Yes.
But you see, that's a simple discussion that when you see it like this, I'd never seen this before I took my first loan.
Yeah.
But now when I see it, I begin to see what choices I can make. Does it mean that a car is a bad thing? No. A car is not a bad thing. In fact, the car can help you do a lot of things, but you have to understand this car is actually losing you money.
Yeah.
Why? So it has lost value. The whole time you're paying insurance, the whole time you're paying fuel, maintenance. So the money is going out of your pocket into this car. You have to understand that principle. Not that the car is bad. A car is a good thing. It will help you get around. But it's not putting money in your pocket. That's what we have to understand. Wow. Especially if it's your personal car. If it's in business, it's a different thing.
Very true.
One more, I know, so that people begin to understand. Pastor, you've been thinking about buying a house. How much is that house? Just tell me the amount.
Milioni kadhaa. Tuseme kama 15 hivi.
Okay,
Kama
let's
20.
go there.
Yeah.
Is that enough zeros? I think one more, but let's see. Oh, no. Hey, I've taken you too far. Not 100.
You've promoted me.
I have. I apologize. Maybe you might get a mortgage at about 13% for 20 years. Look at that now. Let's now have a discussion about like a mortgage. And it's just simply understanding. So borrow 15 million, 13% for 20 years. So that's a mortgage for that house you've been talking about. Now look on this side, Pastor. Monthly repayment. Can you see it there? How much is that?
175K.
Yes. For how many months, Pastor?
240 months. Woo!
Very good. How much interest are you going to pay?
That's the interest alone, 27M.
Yes.
Wow.
And when you see it, now you begin to think, what are my options?
Yeah.
What can I do to achieve this same goal?
Yes.
And if you're going to go down this direction, now you begin to understand. Because if you think about it, this 15M house that you're talking about, Pastor, what is the rent for that kind of house?
Siyo pesa mingi sana.
It would be what? Just give me
Probably what? Probably about 50, 60K?
Oh, no, a bit more than that. A bit more. If you had 15M, it'll be slightly more than that. Now you're talking about...
About 80, 90?
On the 100. Yeah. Close on 100 there. But look at how much you're paying in rent over 20 years for that. I mean, in loan repayment over that same period of time. So if you had 175, Pastor, could you live in that house, pay the rent of 90, and then the remainder of 85,000 and above, you're investing continuously?
Very true.
Would that be an option?
Yeah.
Because we are so focused on trying to achieve things and we don't know how to get there. So when you go into a class, when you buy a book, when you spend time investing in yourself in understanding, it now gives you an upper hand. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? If somebody has been there before, ask them, how did you get there? That's the point.
Wow.
So invest in yourself and understand.
I imagine my time is up for today. I feel like the class should continue, but the time will not allow. Thank you.
It is continuing.
It is continuing.
People can just come. Yeah. Come to centonomy.com. We have all this information is out there. Check out centonomy.com. Centonomy on all social media platforms. We will help you along this journey. We are not the only ones that can do it. You guys do an amazing job. The issue is invest in yourself. Learn so that you can be able to achieve your goals. I hope it's been helpful today.
It has been very helpful. I'll invite you again before another lockdown.
No more lockdowns. No.
No more lockdowns.
I don't want any more. No.
Waithaka, thank you. Always a blessing to have you. Unfortunately, I've run out of time. I hope our discussion today has been beneficial to you.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.